There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to Ticket Weeknights. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, when Monday rolls around 6 o'clock, you can expect me behind the board back here at 1040 Ticket Studios. And again, if you guys ever want to join these shows, streaming only, as we got the preview of the college basketball March Madness Championship on the men's side, Purdue and UConn. And of course, if you guys want to join in the show, Starter Heyman text line still available to you guys, 402-464-5685. Feel free to join in anytime you want, and we'll try to get through them. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and bring them in. Good morning, Pierson-El. How's it going on this Monday, man?
It's going good. Enjoying the weather, finally.
We had you muted one more time. Sorry.
I said it's going good. Finally enjoying the weather.
Yeah. Knock on wood there. We'll see what happens. But yeah, finally got some nice weather. Did you go out there and spot the eclipse today? Yeah, I missed it either. I wasn't super big on it. I saw it back. I think it was like 2017 back in Nebraska. But if you saw it, I think we got not totally covered. I think it was okay around here. But nonetheless, we do got to talk about one thing that is crazy, just the timestamp. First of all, this is criminal. Whoever puts the men's March Madness 8:20 Central Time, not ideal. We got the Purdue Boilermakers 34-4, number one Connecticut Huskies, UConn 36-3. I think it's only fair to start there. Good morning, Pierson-El. How do you see this one shaping up?
UConn,
both sides, go for it.
12.
You're going double digits.
Yes.
I think the spread's 7, so you're not even that far off of what the spread would be. UConn is favored. I think the money line is Purdue plus 215, I believe, and then UConn, obviously, the negative. I can't remember the exact total, but a lot of people are leaning UConn on this way. I got my own reasons. Why are you going with UConn?
They've been beating everybody by double digits. Their closest game was against Alabama. In the tournament, their closest game was Alabama. They were a bit, much to handle and everything like that. And Purdue style isn't Alabama style at any point in chance. So I think they're just going to run the table. Once Purdue gets tired out or tapped and things become too much, that's when you'll see UConn just overpower them, like how you've seen them go through everybody the whole tournament.
Yeah, that's definitely what makes them scary. I thought Alabama played not a perfect game, but a pretty damn good game for 35 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like you said, last 5 minutes, they weren't up to par, and they lost by 14. Just 5 minutes of lack of focus. UConn is one of those teams where if you're on the ground, they're going to kick you. They're not going to feel. They're going to take advantage of it immediately. And this is definitely a key matchup because Alabama, they were shooting great. UConn, they've proven, even with shooting struggles, they can get enough offense going. And talking about the big guy that you love so much, Donovan Clingan, 7'2". I don't think a lot of people realized how tall he is. He's only a couple inches shorter than Zach Edey, which puts another big picture in this. How do you see this faring out? I think that's the first story, is how are these fives going to play? This is different for Zach Edey to face. A quicker wingspan-wise, he's right up there with Zach Edey. That little classic post-hook move he does, it's not going to be so easy when he's going up against Clingan.
I think Edey will try and play bully ball, but his UConn surrounding team will kind of knock that off because they play well off the ball defense. When it gets in there, I think they'll put a plan enough to kind of show what he can and can't do. I think NC State, kind of proved that. They didn't let him get comfortable. They didn't let him get to his spots to really, get going and whatnot. Now, on the opposite, Edey going to have to play defense on UConn's guy, and I think that is going to be a nightmare for Edey. I feel like Edey is slower. He's not as agile. And if that guy gets going and gives you a shot fake or something off of a pump fake or something like that, it's gonna be crazy. I think if UConn's guards drive, Edey will try and help, and any decision that he tries to make, I feel like he's going to be wrong. Because they're lob city. Anytime any guard gets close to the rim, they're throwing it to him. So either Edey's going to be real disciplined and stick on his man, or he's going to try and get block heavy and try and help, and then it's just a lob and he's going to get dunked on.
It's a scary matchup if you're Purdue. This is what I underestimated coming into it. I didn't realize Klingon. I knew Klingon was the 7-footer. I thought it was like more 7 foot in shoes. Nah, he's 7'2", and I think his wingspan's even 7'3". This is going to be the toughest matchup by far Zach Edey has it all year. And if you notice, the one thing Zach Edey kind of struggles against is guys with that good second bounce. For Klingon being 7'2", he's quick. He's a lot quicker than most of the centers, despite being as tall as he is, that Edey's had to deal with. And again, all those, you look at Zach Edey's post-move package, it's not overly impressive. And it's because it hasn't had to be. I mean, you're 7'4", 300 pounds, pretty easy turnaround, nice little baby hook. And that's just not going to work. That's not going to work tonight at all versus Klingon. And I think that's going to be the biggest fear. I will say this, though. The thing that has allowed Purdue to dominate on their end as well, not to the level of UConn. We mentioned it. Their closest game still won by 14 against a really good Alabama team. The shooting. It's to me, the only way Purdue has a chance in this thing is they have significantly improved their shooting. That's the only reason why this year the run's been different than other years. They actually have a 3-point lineup that can back up Zach Edey, and it's just really simple basketball. You throw it in, wait for the double, throw it back out. I think they're going to have to shoot like 50% from the 3-point line to try to win this game, and it's going to be led by Braden Smith and UConn. Pretty pesky perimeter defenders.
Exactly. I don't think that's going to be easy at all. I don't think they'll have open, easy shots. UConn is athletic on offense and defense. And once they kind of smell blood in the water, like, okay, like that's your best punch. Okay. And the heat and the heat turns on. And it's their type of style ball. And I feel like, they've put teams in a panic to try and keep up. And it's worked out for them because teams can't. They've a couple missed threes. Next thing you know, they're up by 8. They're up by 12. And it's like, what happened? It was only, 3-4 possessions. You're like, whoa, like what? Stop the bleeding. No, it's too late now. You're on the roller coaster. It's over.
Yeah. And, give credit to Dan Hurley. That is, that's a program that has just continued. Seemed like they had a few runs there, and he even mentioned it. I think if you go like 3-4 years back, he says, you better catch us now. So I think he was aware of what he was building up there, and he's right. I mean, he might be the first team since that 06 year with Florida to go ahead and go back to back in March Madness. And anytime you're in a 68-team bracket and you can win that 2 years in a row, incredibly impressive. And that's why the last time was Florida, almost 20 plus years ago. Let's just go through these routes here as we're understanding who these teams are. You look at UConn's road, it's like we said, it's been absolutely dominant. 16 seed Stenson, you expect this one, not maybe to this level, 91-52. They move on to 9 seed Northwestern, still not a problem, 75-58. Now you're hoping for a challenge. San Diego State, pretty good defensive team. They got some size. Doesn't matter. Did not matter at all.
Blew them out.
82. Not even close. 5 seed San Diego State. Then you're hoping Big Ten. All right, maybe Shannon Sharp Jr. and company can try to stir things up. Nope, blowout as well. 52-77. I think that might have been the ugliest one. So a lot of people were hoping Illinois might have some size.
Illinois just didn't show up that day. Like anything that they were doing, like I feel like they almost got bullied. Like, yeah, they did. And it wasn't like, like a low bully. Like, no, it was brutal. It was like brutal. Like they got slapped around.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's the scary part about UConn is like we kind of hinted at it with Alabama. If you have like 4, 5 possessions. If you get to 5 bad possessions in a row, you're almost drowning already. They are
the panic will set in.
Yep. And again, with their shooting, with their defense, they don't have Zach Edey, but I'll take Klingon at 7-2 just as well, and a little more better of it, certainly better in transition, which is one thing that if you're going to argue with Purdue that Zach Edey could do a lot better. When you're 7-4, you got to be better in transition. But I get it, 300 pounds, not the fastest guy out there. And of course, the last game we hinted at it, Alabama 72, and Alabama played good. That was a good game by Alabama.
Real good.
Yeah, it was not the case, like you said, with Illinois, where you felt like Illinois just didn't show up. Alabama showed up, and it was a close game until, like we said, the very last few minutes.
If Alabama played probably anybody else on the other side than UConn, they probably win.
Yeah.
They just had to go through UConn, and that was the unfortunate thing. And probably that game will be more exciting, I think, than a national championship, honestly.
Maybe. Okay. I might be with you there. But okay. I'll say that this is so – I don't want to say Purdue has no chance.
Purdue's boring. Like they don't do anything.
Of course they're boring.
They don't do anything. They don't do anything spectacular. Their guards are not gonna match up relatively close to UConn. If UConn has a off night, meaning nobody's hitting, you might have a chance. And then Purdue's guards are hitting or their shooters are hitting, you might stand a chance. I think, top to bottom athletically on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, I think it's UConn, and it's not close at all.
For the sake of playing devil's advocate, because I think you're right. I'll just be straight out with it. I think UConn's guards, I think they're going to really put a bad spotlight on how athletic Purdue's
take
guards are.
Most money.
Yeah, I think Purdue athletically, it might look a little bit like Texas A&M versus Nebraska, where you really saw that disparity of athletics.
That's too early for that one. Come on, you could have used somebody else. Like, why you got to throw that jab? Like, man,
that one's still burning in the back of my mind fresh. So that's probably why it was fresh for use right there. But hey, we're just being real here. That is a great example of athletic disparity and how it doesn't seem like that big of a deal until the game starts, and then you're sitting there, and it's incredibly frustrating. And you can we talked about it. It's not only UConn really was kind of like a version of Texas A&M that night where they can attack at the rim, but they can also shoot threes. And that's been a consistent part of their game, unlike Texas A&M when Nebraska faced them. But for the sake of it, if we're going to give hope for Purdue, we're going to try to lock on for some Big Ten championship. The last team, you'd have to call 2000 Michigan State, which is crazy to think. You're 24 years later, and still Frank the Tank had a chance in that 2015 year versus Duke. Wasn't even close if I remember that one correctly either. Big Ten, there's a star center, but they tend to fall flat, except for that, of course, 2000 Michigan State Tom Izzo, where he got his only one. But for the fun of it, let's go through Purdue's road as well, because it wasn't as dominant, but still impressive nonetheless. And if you want to take the money line, maybe this will convince you. I wouldn't recommend it, but nonetheless, first game, 16 seed Grambling State, not a problem there, 78-50. And you got to expect, they just didn't have anybody size-wise. If they would have lost that game, that would have been disastrous for Zach Edey's stock. Next game, number 8, Utah State. This is their most impressive win. Utah State didn't stand a chance. 67-106. Dominated. This game, I think, doesn't get enough credit. Gonzaga, I think that was kind of one of the dark horse teams for me this year. I thought they were really good. They didn't stand a chance either against Purdue. 80-68. Yes, it was closer towards the end, though. Purdue definitely pulled away. Tennessee was close, 66-72. NC State, I was surprised at Purdue. I didn't think Purdue played a very good game. DJ Burns wasn't even having a great night. And Zach Edey, although he wasn't bad, he wasn't overwhelming. They scraped by on that one, 13-point win. So that's the road for Purdue. Impressive. It's not riddled with 20-plus point wins. Is there any chance Purdue can win this game? Like, is there a layout for Purdue to get in this thing and somehow hold up the banner at the end?
I don't think so, but you know that it could be their day. It could just be, they could be the better team that day. UConn could, trick it off. I don't think they will, but I think 9 times out of 10, absolutely 9.5 times out of 10, they don't. But I mean, if you catch them the right day, that's what March Madness is about. Matchups necessarily like this. You don't think teams should lose a certain game and they end up doing it. So anything can happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.
No. Like we've been saying here, I wouldn't. This is one. If it's a money line, I'm staying the hell away from it. It's just it favors UConn heavily. There is a route. To me, it's a perfect storm kind of night. I mean, I really think Purdue's going to have to shoot close to 50% from three. Braden Smith's going to have to play out of his mind. I think Kaufman is going to have to make up for, because I have a bad feeling. It definitely feels like, despite the size disadvantage, 2 inches isn't a lot. I think he's going to have more of a chance of frustrating Zach Edey than the other way around. I just think with his ability and his second jump, despite being that tall, he's got a lot better package too in terms of post moves.
I think not only that, as far as first steps or get going, like
yes,
Edey is slow, and he might play into the I got long arms, I can like meet you at the rim and everything like that. But you got to be careful with UConn's guy, because he can get you into foul trouble, and if Edey's in foul trouble, oh, good night. Y'all might not make it out of the first half. It might be over before halftime if that happens. And I think that's what UConn is going to do. They're going to find out what is testing you, and they have no problem whatever which way it is. Like they can. Oh, you want to do this or try that? Okay, we're going to try that. That ain't working. Okay, we're going to change this up and try this. Like they're going to figure out a way to make something work. And once that gets going, it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, unless maybe you hope that Zach Edey can try to get Klingon in foul trouble. To me, that's you got to eliminate that matchup, because that is the one thing that Purdue has been dominating by. You mentioned their offense. It's super boring. Like, it's not that they should spice it up just to be cute. No. They haven't had to. It's just why? Why would you got a 7'4", 300-pounder, throw it in, wait for the double, throw it out, and you got an elite group of 3-point shooters that can knock him down. This time 7-2, they might go ahead and trust Klingon to handle that one-on-one, as long as he can avoid foul trouble. And that's where the real scare comes from. So, I mean, with Zach Edey, who do you think in this matchup between Klingon, Zach Edey, who's going to lead the game in rebounds and points? Just those two stats alone. Because this is the key mark. This makes the whole game for me. And if you think there's something else, but it really, to me, comes between those two. Because Purdue will drastically have to change their offense.
I think as UConn's guy, his ability to be quicker. So I think Edey will try to attempt to overpower him and use his size. Not meaning his height size, his weight size.
Yeah.
Back him down, or use his shoulders a lot and everything like that. I think that might bite him in the end, which will take a little bit of the aggression out. And then I think UConn's guy will kind of take over there. He might can fake one way and get set up into positions, or he might even just make sure that Edey is taken care of, and other UConn guys would just rebound it. So I mean, I could see it going both ways. I still think UConn's guy will be the better with stats and everything like that. He gets up quicker. He's more reactive. And he's more. I think he's more involved in what the team is doing on both ends of the stuff. You'll see him running the floor easily. Edey's not gonna be able to be with that for the entire game. So I think 300 pounds is a lot of weight to move around.
And I'll give him credit. He does play like 38 minutes a game still, but you can see the fatigue. It definitely shows at the end.
So I think the quicker that they get that to there, I think I feel like UConn's guy thrives. That's his thing.
Yeah,
like he's one of those energy players. Like like
rim runner.
He's just back and forth. He doesn't have a stop button. He doesn't have a chill button. He has one mode, and that's go. So I think that gives him the edge, regardless of Edie being, significantly heavier than him.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give points, and rebounds to Klingon. I just really think that Klingon's game at his size is going to really frustrate Zach Edey. And I could be wrong about this. This has been, to this point, it's truly been a revenge tour for Zach Edey. So man, you could say, who the hell are you to doubt him now? I'm doubting him now because UConn has been far more dominant. And again, with Klingon, he's just got better moves. And when you're kind of both at that same height, what Zach Edey does well, that baby hook, which always kind of blows my mind. He always wants to roll further away from the rim as opposed to just going closer to the backboard. But nonetheless, it's worked up until this game right here. We'll see if it continues to work, but that baby hook, when you're only got a 2-inch advantage, drastically different. Yes, he's 300 pounds, but I don't think Klingon, yes, he's lighter, but he's still got quite a bit of weight on him as well. So Zach Edey not going to be able to bully his way. And to me, it's going to be a game of foul trouble. And even there, I like Klingon a lot more there. I just think he's better with his post moves to get Rink Mast in uncomfortable positions. Mast not used to guarding it. You could say the same for either of those, but I just think overall with the guard talent, they being better, more athletic than Purdue. And then on top of that matchup, more of a toss-up, but I'm still going to go ahead and give it to Klingon just because I think the way the offense works around him makes it better, not necessarily just individually better. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and throw it to break. And then if we have time, I want to ask, out of Klingon and Zach Edey, which one looks like an NBA guy and who's got the better odds of being something in the NBA? And then, of course, we've got to talk about South Carolina pulls it off. It would have been a nightmare for them if there are only 2 losses in 2 years. Would have been in the Final Four in the championship to Iowa, but they wiped that mark off. They beat Iowa in the championship. So we'll have to dive into that one as well. So don't go anywhere. This is the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison runs on the 1s and 2s, and the host is always DeMornay Pierson-El streaming in. We'll be back in just a little bit.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with Integrated Behavioral Health Services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Early Break with Sip and Jake.
He can maybe run. So like speed option, those things. All you want to do.
Speed. I can't see.
It's also. Oh, look what you did. Look what you did. Look at Bill. Come on now. Calm down. I don't say anything about semicolons or should there be a parentheses or
Too many commas over there.
Too many
Come on.
run-on sentences. Don't talk about that. It's not my wheelhouse.
Early Break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
The Mill Coffee and Tea inside our 93.7 The Ticket studio is now open 7 days a week. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, you can enjoy burritos, cinnamon rolls, fresh brewed coffee, delicious tea, or even their coffee and cream ale. Sold exclusively at the Ticket Mill location. Open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the weekends. Right here at 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, are about to hit the court. Mark your calendars for January 24th at 7 p.m. when we host the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Witness world-class talent, including national champions and Olympians. Don't wait. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. and become a part of history.
Who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association on the station.
A lot.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Demorne Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in to Ticket Weeknights. Once again, streaming only, but appreciate you guys joining in. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961. I got a little bit of time here left before, again, we got the men's championship going on tonight at 8:20 Central Time. You got the Purdue Boilermakers versus the UConn Huskies. Hopefully it's a good one. Definitely no guarantees there, but let's go ahead, bring in the host as always, Demorne Pierson-El. And where I want to go with this one is before we dive into the women's college championship, because that was a great game by all means. Maybe not surprising on how you thought South Carolina was playing all year, but let's start with this between Zach Edey. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Clingan. There we go. Donovan Clingan between the two centers. It's been like 2 minutes. You think it'd still be on the tip of my tongue. Donovan Clingan, Zach Edey, those two guys, 2 7-footers. One, argue, a little more athletic, better post moves. The other, the guy's 7'4", 300 pounds, and does seem to just continually get better. Out of those two guys, who do you like more as a true NBA fit and not just 1, 2, 3, 4 years out there to stick around? Or any of them?
I would say Donovan. I think they're both going to get their shot because obviously they're over 7 foot.
Oh yeah, they'll get a chance.
If
Taco Fall got one, he'll get one.
Yeah. So if Edie's game was a little bit more or consistent with like Joel Embiid, you could say that, but Joel was what he was doing in the pros, he was doing that in college. Like you knew like what his next evolution was gonna be. I'm not so sure with Edie. Like the game, his style of play, the game isn't like that.
No.
So I mean, if some things are gonna have to change for him to his ceiling to be higher, and or if he goes to a right system and he works with a coach and he gets the certain moves he needs to be. But as of right now, to day one, I think Donovan, you plug him in with any organization and what he's doing right now on the floor, he'll be able to do that in the league.
Yeah, he seems like the better fit. None of the guys shoot the three. I mean, Klingon tries. He's shooting 28%. I think on pretty low samples here.
His mid range is decent though. Like he can get the ball face up and give you a quick bucket.
100%. Those guys. The problem is neither of them play that positionless five. Mm-hmm. They're definitely going to be to me, the question is not that any of them will be Rudy Gobert, but that's kind of the comp they're going for. You don't see. I mean, name some fives that don't shoot the three ball, like not well, but at all. Klingon shot it twice. Edie, you're never going to see him pulling up.
Giannis has been shooting the ball more lately, but
he ain't no center. I mean, come on. Can any of those guys run? Any of those guys run like Giannis? That guy is the Greek freak for a reason.
Donovan is closer to that than anything else.
If he puts on muscle mass like that, I'll take that seriously. And it's possible, right? Because Giannis did have that development.
That's his game. Like he can. What Giannis is doing, other than necessarily like not obviously not taking over a game and just dominating and everything like that, but the tangibles before Giannis really became the Greek freak and everything like that, probably like 2 years before they won a championship. Like I think Donovan can do that. Like I don't think that's far off. If he gets somewhere and everything like that and can hone his game, he is a nightmare matchup anywhere mid range. He can beat you off the first step. He's probably going to be taller than most people in that position anyway. He can drive past you and he can pull up and he can run the floor. Mm-hmm. So that was Giannis' game. Giannis wasn't taking over stuff and everything like that. Once Giannis got comfortable with playing in the U.S. and everything like that for a few years, he became that. But as I said, like what he's doing in college now, like I feel like that can translate over into the NBA sooner than what Edie's doing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I will say Giannis was just an incredible raw athlete, and that's why he was drafted and kept around. Klingon, an athlete, not to the level. Giannis, he's more polished in skills by far.
Right now, coming in than Giannis was.
Mm-hmm. If he can. And he's not going to be as fast to be able to jump as high, but he's still good enough at both of those. If he can put on the muscle weight behind it, there is a route for him. Zach Edey, I mean, is there any road for Zach? To me, I would go with Rudy Gobert. Maybe that's more fair for Edey because he's not fast. He can't be that Giannis out there. There's no chance. He's 300 pounds. The best thing he's going to have to do is be an elite defensive player to really carve out a role because offensively, half the moves it's not going to work in the NBA. He's going to have to try to be a terror on defense, which is totally possible. 7'4", he can be a great rim protector, especially when he's got, legit backups to where he doesn't even attempt to go for blocks so many times. I don't think that's Edey being lazy. I think that's Max Painter understanding everybody's game plan is to get you to foul out as quickly as possible. So he just doesn't go for a lot. NBA setting, it might look different. That's the only real route I see for Zach Edey. I don't trust him developing any sick jumper anytime soon. What is the route for Zach Edey if he wants to make a prominent role in the NBA? Is there one?
Yeah, there is. Like he's gonna have to go. I feel like to a team to where his conditioning is gonna have to be better.
Mm-hmm. I'm not the conditioning part. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, lose some weight? Because I think he's in incredible shape, but he is 300 pounds. There's got to be a trade because he's playing 38 minutes a game.
Why do you need to be 300 pounds?
Like if you mean lose weight, I'm with you. Conditioning,
he can probably cut 15 pounds and put 10 pounds of muscle on.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
And look better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of like a place that like would be good for him to do like what he necessarily wants to do. I feel like he's gonna have to go to kind of like a slashing team.
100%.
Pick and roll stuff and just drive to the basket, and if anything comes off the rim, like you put him back, or for sure two, or for sure a foul trouble somebody out, and you're gonna have to get more aggressive on the defensive end. Like that's gonna be his game.
I think Knicks could actually be a good fit for him.
That wouldn't be bad.
They got a lot of size. I love Jalen Brunson. You talk about he's a guard that's really gifted on finding those slashers. I would love to say Nuggets just because I think you put any center with Jokic, of course, you're going to have some highlights. But
Jokic looks more out of shape than him, and Jokic be running stuff.
Yeah.
Like Jokic looks like he doesn't necessarily like belong. Not belong. Jokic looks like.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
He looks like he's not supposed to be doing what he does.
No.
And effortlessly, like it's not
like behind the head like that.
He's just out there just playing around, not care. Like he can turn around and shoot a high sky hook from three and probably still make it.
And he has. And if you're a Lakers fan, you know all too well about those sky hook threes, whatever the hell. It's been.
I feel like
not a sky hook, but a chuck.
I feel like if Edie gets to Miami.
Oh yeah, okay.
If you put Bam at like the 4,
yes.
You put Edie at the 5 with Jimmy and how Spro's going to do stuff. Like he could thrive there. I think Eric Spoelstra can get him to a place of what he would work for him. He would find what he does good offensively and defensively, and he can be dominant.
I like that fit a lot. I think that's even better. And as I'm looking up where Zach Edey mock draft is at, but it's funny as you mentioned Jokic. I was finding some older videos of Jokic the other day, and it is pretty funny. When his first year on the Nuggets, I think it was like 5 games into it, he's coming in as a role player. He makes what looks like a ridiculous shot at the time because nobody's used to Jokic yet. Mm-hmm. And the announcer straight up calls, well, geez, I guess anybody's making them now. So Jokic's game has certainly been perplexing to even the hardcore NBA fans. Let's try to figure out where it is potential first round pick. Trying to figure out if there's a team that would they got a good matchup for him. Might have to find that out later. But just your stats, if you're worrying about Zach Edey, what he could do, the rebounding's great. You got to remember it's college though. And for 7'4", you better have 10 rebounds plus, because if not, that's ridiculous. If you're in college, shoot 7'4", 300 pounds, can't get more than 10 boards. He does that. 24 points per game, 11 boards, so he is averaging a double-double, 2.1 assists.
Not bad. He's getting triple team, so they're passing it to him, and two more people are coming. That's smart. Okay, if you don't, if you didn't have any assists, I'd be like, okay, he might be a selfish player.
Yeah, that one surprises me. I think it's not his fault. If you watch his games, he's kicking it out constantly. It's more surprising because Purdue is dominant in 3-point shooting this year. So the fact that's only 2.1 is a little bit surprising.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be higher, but I don't think that's really on Zach Edey. I think he's got that part of the game. I mean, he's been playing through double teams since he got to college. He knows how to find it out of it. The blocks, talked about it. I'm not super concerned about the 2.2 field goal percentage, 61%. Great there. Free throws, 71%. You'll take that from 7'4" giant in Zach Edey. I like it. I do think the Miami Heat's got to be the fit for him, though. We got a little bit of time left. Let's go ahead, though, and talk about the women's college championship game, because it was awesome. Sorry for anyone who took the under. You were way off. That was a dumb idea to take the under on those two teams. I could have told you, even as high as it was, take the damn over.
Yeah, Caitlin was going out shooting regardless. She didn't care.
Exactly.
She emptied the clip.
What are your initial thoughts of that game? Because shout out to women's basketball. I don't want to say what's the right words here. I don't want to say they've made it. I feel like they've always deserved the respect. I'm not saying this personally, but it's going to be up to the NCAA, the WNBA to really capitalize on this momentum. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, multiple players. We can go on and on. South Carolina, you can go 1 through 5, 1 through 8. They got stars all over the place. There's more stars out there. It's up to them to continue to build this momentum. But that game right there, what stuck out to you in the girls' March Madness National Championship? South Carolina finally gets it done. Undefeated, perfect season.
I mean, that right there in itself, like an undefeated season, is not easy. Discipline, sacrifice, regardless of any sport. So you commend that. You're witnessing history. And for a coach to do that in the times that she's been there and the products that she has produced on the next level, she's standing in a lane of her own. Year in and year out, she's getting the player she wants. Honestly, like, I'm not trying to say like, it's the second coming of like what UConn has been for a minute.
I think you're right.
But it's the same footsteps. It's they need a couple more years to be like, okay, but they're producing that caliber of stuff. And the attention that some of these female superstars have opened, that have shed a light in the game. I'm not saying that I'm not to say that they've made it more interesting. They've made it more competitive.
Oh yeah,
they made it more competitive. They've been more outspoken, and they've demanded you pay attention to them. And it's been a show. The whole female March Madness has been a show. Not to say that it hasn't been in the past, but I definitely feel like this year was one of the more competitive years from start to finish.
I'm with you. The UConn thing, it was so great, and it's not that it's their fault. I think it oddly enough turned people off, thinking that March Madness is just too predictable, and they didn't even call it March Madness for the women's for whatever reason until I think it might have been 3-4 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, for the dumbest thing ever. Whatever, they finally gave them the March Madness title, which they deserve. The same damn thing,
for sure.
But UConn's dominance, I feel like, almost pushed people away because they also weren't airing the other teams, not the chance. Like this South Carolina team, Caitlin Clark, there's so many people that believe Caitlin Clark might be able to get it done. There's a lot of superstars like that every year, David versus Goliath stories that we get to hear about. So I do think there's an opportunity. But Dawn Staley, she's got that program running right now. Full operation.
She is.
When you got a freshman that's just an absolute stud and you can pull him out of the game whenever you want because you have that much depth, that's scary. That's terrifying.
And it's so I have a question. Do the females have the same 1 year and done, or do they have to stay for a couple years?
No, they can go one done if they want. Same rules apply.
I don't remember Brittany Griner. Was Brittany Griner a one and done, or did she stay like 2 years?
She stayed. They typically stay a little longer because the payout. Okay. They value the college experience more because let's be honest here, the WNBA stardom, it's getting better. But certainly
it's still behind, but they have made tremendous, strides with getting stuff done for them and everything like that. And I think the Aces, there's been other people that have, started stuff and everything like that, but the Aces as a whole organization and team, their caliber of players have definitely brought the standard up to the whole league.
Oh yeah. Move the needle is an understatement.
For sure.
Before we get out of this break, though, we got to talk about this woman from South Carolina, an absolute terror, Cardoso. Oh my Lord. 17 rebounds, only 31 minutes, and she put up 15 points as well. I think all 15 of those, if not, maybe a couple shots for second chance points. How do you stop a player like that? She is
get them in foul trouble. And it's hard because and it can happen because she. And that's the thing I like about Dawn too, because Dawn be kind of checking her to keep her like in the game. Because I'm not saying she has an attitude, but she got something with her. She plays with an aggression, which I absolutely love on both sides of the ball. She gonna talk crazy to you. Her facial expressions is crazy. And she's physical. She's a grinder. She's not beneath, going on the floor or, going in for jump balls and everything like that, or running from conflict. But that also can get her in trouble if you get her, off her game. That's why I say, I commend, Don with stopping her and kind of keeping her like check back in.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
So, but she's an absolute monster. South Carolina has put out, that position the last couple years routinely.
Mm-hmm.
Routinely. So, I mean, I feel like they're kind of like Wisconsin with running backs. Wisconsin went on a run with it was just one running back after another, after another, after another. Like,
don't remind me.
It was them with the center position. It's like, oh my God, they have another one, and she might be better than the one before.
I think she is. That's the scary part. Like she is not like there was a key sequence there, and we got to go to break. I just didn't feel like it was right to go to break without mentioning, because if you watch that game, there's no way you're not noticing Cardona. She was just dominant.
Everywhere.
She had two Iowa players hit the deck trying to rip a ball away from her, and she just muscled through it all. Said, get that weak stuff out of here. Was incredibly impressive. So shout out South Carolina, the Women's March Madness 2024 national champion. Shout out to Dawn Staley. She was emotional after, well-deserved. And shout out to Iowa as well. It was a perfect Women's March Madness. It was everything you could have wanted in terms of a fan, but only one team could win it. So congrats to Dawn Staley, South Carolina, for an awesome Women's March Madness. But with that being said, we'll throw it to our final break here. Will be a short one, and we'll be right back for the final segment right here at 93.7 The Ticket.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with Integrated Behavioral Health Services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour, final segment. This one will be short and sweet, but as we're getting ready for March Madness, NBA is wrapping around right at the same time. And I thought this would be a fun exercise to try to figure out. If anyone watched the NBA Finals last year, you were probably wondering to yourself, how in the hell are the Miami Heat continuing this run from a 10 seed, mind you, 10 seed playing team? Not 10 seed. They were the 9 seed, lost their first game, and then won the next one to seal themselves, and then went on a crazy run. And if you remember it, all the way to the NBA Finals, fell short to the Nuggets, but it was an insane run by a Jimmy Butler-led Miami Heat team. Looking at these play-in teams, no, I don't think it's going to happen. I've said that multiple times. I don't think this is ever going to happen again, but just for the sake of the exercise, as we got a crazy biker crew lining up here. It's getting crazier in Lincoln. Pierson-El, we got a biker crew up front there, but
sun's out. Time to go. Winter's over. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go through these play-in teams. And let's see if is there any magic left in any of these. Not that they're going to win the whole damn thing, but maybe make some upsets, shock a 1 or 2 seed. Let's start with the Eastern Conference, probably because they were worse teams. They are. Just flat out, just for everyone's acknowledged. The 8 seed in the East is 43-35. You go to the West, the 8 seed is, it's not as bad as I thought, 45-33. But at least there's no losing records. If you get to the 10th seed, you got a losing record with the Hawks. 36-42. Bulls, the other play-in team, 37-41. Switching to the West, and there's only about 4 games left. I don't expect these to move around a whole lot. It's going to be these teams for the most part. West side, number 10 seed Warriors, number 9 seed Lakers. Those seem a lot more fun if you're going to try to pick a Cinderella. But any of those play-in teams, East or West, do any of those guys got a real shot in creating some sort of Cinderella run?
I mean, you can't look past the Warriors. Regardless, they've been there, they experienced things and everything like that. You can't look past them. I mean, they have a Hall of Fame coach. They got Hall of Fame players. Their core players are still there and whatnot. I notice they're not, as dominant as they has been in the past.
Draymond's checked in half the time, to be fair. He's not always there.
If he's checked in playoff time, that's where it's going to be crucial at. So you can't put anything past them. I mean, the Lakers with LeBron and whatnot, as much as you may want to say and everything like that, it's still LeBron. He went on a 11-year straight NBA playoff championship run. So it's you can't put that past him too, regardless. On the Eastern side, no.
No. That was just a flat out no.
Absolutely not. No.
As much as I love my Bulls, it's not, I don't want to say clear, but it does feel like they're kind of just kicking the can down the road till next season. I'm with you. I think
you made the playoffs. That's great.
Yeah, they do that. What is it? 3rd year in a row play-in team. They can't break through that barrier. Billy Donovan, not great for him. I think his career is coming to an end, certainly for the Chicago Bulls here. But it's definitely one of those things where the East, I don't like. The Hawks have been incredibly disappointing. To think they had that Eastern Conference Finals run not too long ago with Trae Young to just not a poverty franchise, but not too far from it either. With the caliber of talent you have, it's brutal, especially when you're in a weaker side of the conference. You're in the Eastern. You got to be doing better. To sit there at 36-42, yes, I understand injuries come at play, but you got to have better than just one good season out of it all. I'm with you. I'm not going to go with the Warriors, though. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Lakers, simply because it's LeBron James, and I feel like he's aware that the clock's ticking. Not that he needs to retire anytime soon, but
it's coming. It's coming sooner than later.
Yep, and I just think, for everything he's gone through, this might be, if you're looking for a Cinderella run, there might be no better guy to run that than LeBron James himself. And Anthony Davis, I'll knock on wood, has been healthy. That has been a rarity for him, but he's been consistently healthy this year for the most part. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with the Los Angeles Lakers. I'll say this, though. I do think it's going to be Nuggets all the way. I just find me a team that can figure out a way to somewhat just at least slow down Jokic. No one's been able to do it yet. But with that being said, that's going to go ahead and wrap up the Dome Punt Hour. Shout out to all you guys for listening. It's been streaming only today, but I see the numbers still haven't varied too much. So I always appreciate you guys joining in, hopping in here, watching the show with us. But we're going to keep it rolling here on Ticket Weeknights. We got the Speed and Power up next. Megan Walker, she's behind me, getting ready to go here. So we'll have that one shortly, starting around that 8 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere. Appreciate you guys listening, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Rashawn Jackson, the captain here for the Body Shop. And man, did they hook me up with a great massage recently? The captain has a lot of stress in his life,